Hello. OpenAIRE allows for registration, repositories, data archives, journals, aggregators, and quiz systems. By registering your data source in OpenAIRE, you will be able to use the provided functionalities to validate the data source compatibility with OpenAIRE guidelines, to get notifications to enrich the research results with additional or missing metadata, and to track the data source user's activity. You can go to the About section of the Provide page and see some details of the registration process, as well as to these additional functionalities that is available in the Provide dashboard for registered data sources. If you are interested to register your data source in OpenAIRE, it needs to be registered in one of the authoritative global registries, namely in OpenAIRE, Refridata, FairSharing, and DRIS, according to its typology. If you are registering a journal, there is no need to be registered in one of these registries. So, once you are logged in, go to your dashboard and then select the option Register in the top left menu, or here in the middle in the button Register. Then you should select the data source type that better suits to your data source. If we want to register a repository, we just need to select repository. I would like also to point the guidance information that you can find in the right side of the page. So now I will register a repository, selecting the option, and now we have this form to start the registration process. So the first step, we need to select the country in which our data source is based. So you can search, for example, for Portugal, and then a list of repositories based in Portugal are listed. These entries comes from the global registries such as OpenAIRE, Refridata, and FairSharing. We can now look for our repository from this list, and once you find it, you can select and then click Next. In the second step, we have all the basic information about your data source. On this case, this information that is pre-filled in comes from OpenAIRE, the global registry in which this data source is registered. We can confirm the information and update it if necessary. Please take into consideration that all the mandatory fields need to be filled in, for example, the description of data source, country, URL, institution, English name, and the admin. Once all the details are filled in, we can click Next and move to the upcoming step that is related with the OAPMH interface. This interface is used by OpenAIRE to harvest the repository contents. By default, this information is also filled in, but if you would like to add a new interface, you can select this option here, Add New Interface, or if the URL is correct, you just need to confirm the information and specify the set you would like to register in OpenAIRE, but if you don't have any set to select, you just leave it as it is. And then the desired compatibility level. Here you should select the OpenAIRE guidelines with which your repository is compatible. However, if you are not sure which guidelines you should select, there is no problem. You can select, for example, the OpenAIRE version 4 and then proceed. And why? This is not very relevant to select without being sure about the compatibility level, because the OpenAIRE aggregation team will validate your registration and will identify with which OpenAIRE guidelines your data source is compatible. So on this moment we can proceed to the next step of our registration, and here we need to accept terms of use. And if you agree that OpenAIRE can reuse the full text of your data source for mining purposes, you could also select to agree the reuse of full text. And now we just need to click finish, and we are concluding our registration process. Once you have finished the registration, the OpenAIRE aggregation team will validate the information and verify the compatibility level of your data source. We will contact you if we need further information. Your data source will join the OpenAIRE infrastructure, and its content will be regularly aggregated and indexed to the OpenAIRE graph.